Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di. Today I'm sharing with you my first impressions on the Monochrome Manga Club series reads for the month of February. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at local Barnes & Noble. We're currently reading 2 first-in-a-series selections every month, and we are currently doing 2 full series reads. So our selections for the month of February were Volume 1 of I'm in Love with the Villainess, art by Anoshimo, story by Inori, and character design by Hanagata. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. We also read Volume 1 of Love's in Sight by Uoyama. This one is published by Viz, also rated teen. And then our series reads, we finished Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa by reading volumes 25, 26, and 27. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. And then we also are continuing our series read of Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui by reading volumes 3 and 4. This is also published by Viz and is rated older teen. So as our series reads are not first in a series selections, I will not be telling you my thoughts on those volumes, but if you're interested in hearing what I thought about those reads, you can check out my DCES19 diaries for the week. But I will be sharing my thoughts with you on our 2 first in a series selections. So let's go ahead and start with I'm in Love with the Villainess. So this is a story about our female character here. Her name is Rei. And she really enjoys this otome game, and she ends up getting transported into it, except she does not care for any of the male characters that are available to strengthen your relationship with in the game. She is in love with the Villainess, who is this character here, and her name is Claire Francois. And so with her knowledge of how this game is played, she goes in and confesses her love to Claire, and Claire does not like her. In fact, she's really put off by how forward Rei is, and so it kind of follows Rei trying to get into the good graces of Claire and strengthen that relationship with her because she loves her. This was a requested title by one of my Monochrome Manga Club members, and so I decided that since it is kind of a romance story that we would read it for the month of February. I will say that I did not enjoy this one as much as I think most of the rest of the members of my club did. For me, I think part of it was that I'm much older than they are. And some of the things that happened in this volume I couldn't vibe with, especially because there seems to be a bunch of bullying that goes along with trying to push Rei away. And Rei kind of accepts it as signs of affection. And I don't like that trope. And so, yeah, this series starts off with a lot of that. A lot of bullying and accepting it as signs of affection. And then there's some other things that Rei ends up doing in this volume that I don't agree with in trying to get closer to Claire. Now, there are definitely some interesting things that happen because they do go to an academy that is kind of magic. They have magic. And so there is like exams and things that happen in this volume, and so all of that was really interesting. You get that school dynamic as well, but yeah, it wasn't as enjoyable for me as it was for some of my other members. I do have a copy of this audiobook, the audiobook of the light novel. So there is a light novel series available for this. I believe the light novels is what the manga is based on. And so before we even read this selection, I did go ahead and purchase the audiobook because I thought if I enjoyed this volume, I would probably enjoy the audiobook more because usually with light novels, you get a lot more detail and it just fills in a lot more stuff for me. I have not yet listened to the audiobook, but now my hopes are kind of like a little bit lower. For that audiobook, I'm definitely going to listen to it, but I will say that I'm not anticipating it as much as I was before I read this volume. So it was still an enjoyable read. It was entertaining. I just had some issues with it. I don't know that I'm going to be continuing with this series. I'll have to see what I feel about the audiobook and the light novel series once I get to it. But yeah, it was still enjoyable, still entertaining. I'm not sure that I'm going to continue with it, but yeah. And then Volume 1 of Love's in Sight. This is about our characters here on the cover. So the female character's name is Yukiko, and the guy is Morio. And Morio is like a kind of gang leader, but he comes across Yukiko, and Yukiko has a vision impairment. So she walks around with a stick to like feel out things on the ground. She can see a little bit, like very little, but for the most part, she's, I guess you would consider her legally blind. But she ends up meeting Morio, and she, not really being able to see what he looks like, can kind of like see to who he is underneath. So you can kind of see that he has like a scar on his face, and so that kind of gives him this like outward appearance that most people automatically think you're a gangster, and it causes him a little bit of trouble sometimes. You definitely see how it does in this volume, but being that Yukiko can't see him, she kind of gets to know who he really is, and this volume kind of follows them getting to know each other and how them knowing each other kind of changes each other's lives, and not only that, some of the other people's lives around them. And so I really enjoyed this volume. It was very cute. The art style, very cute. I really enjoyed how the stories in here really show you how soft Morio is inside. He definitely goes through a couple hardships in this volume, and it was really cute to see how Yukiko and Morio's friendship kind of evolves from the things that they go through in this volume. And I just really enjoyed it. It was really cute. It's very episodic, and so you can definitely just read a little bit, like a chapter or two. You don't have a lot of time, and just, you know, spend a little bit of time with our characters. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I definitely will be reading more in this series. In fact, while we were at the store, I did pick up volume 2. The mangaka in the back, where it has the little author's note, it says, "I wrote this manga so that more people could understand that people with disabilities are not unapproachable. They're right there beside us. I hope you'll follow me through every last page of this journey." And so, yes, really, really cute story. It definitely showcases how just like little things, like a new pair of shoes, can really affect Yukiko's day-to-day life. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how our two characters get to know each other better, and the things that they end up doing, and all of the other characters that we were introduced to. It was really sweet. It was really cute, and I'm really looking forward to spending more time with them. So that's pretty much all that I have to say about our two first in a series selections. Before I let you go, I do want to let you know what we will be reading for the month of March. So if you haven't seen yet, I am helping to host the 9th round of March Mystery Madness. March Mystery Madness is a month-long reading event where we encourage and promote the reading of mysteries throughout the month of March. And it's a readathon, a reading event that I have been a part of since its inception. I participated in the very first round, and I have hosted 8 rounds. This will be my 8th round. And so it's something that's been a part of my channel for a very long time, and I'm really glad to be hosting again. But as such, because we are doing March Mystery Madness in March, definitely wanted to make sure we were reading mystery titles for the Monochrome Manga Club. So the 2 selections that we will be reading as first in a series selections for March will be Volume 1 of ID Invaded, Break Broken. This has art by Yuki Kodama, an original story by Otaru Maijo, and it says The Detectives United. This one is published by Yen Press, rated older teen. This one says, "When I open my eyes, I find myself in an unfamiliar car in an unfamiliar town in front of the on-ramp to an unfamiliar highway. Before I can process any of this, I see the fiery explosions of multiple car crashes in the distance, and without thinking, I stomp on the accelerator and race towards the scene. I soon find that I've driven straight into hell at full speed with no brakes, just like everyone around me. In the midst of this insanity, I discover the corpse of a girl, and I suddenly know I am the brilliant detective, and I must solve the mystery of her death. So definitely sounds very interesting. So that's the first in a series read we will be reading. And then the second first in a series read will be Island in a Puddle, Volume 1 by Kei Sanbei. So the Monochrome Manga Club did read Erased. I think we finished it this year. Really enjoyed that one. I'm definitely looking forward to this title. So this one is published by Kodansha, rated older teen. And this says, a childhood in the underworld. Minato's tiny apartment might as well be on a deserted island. Despite being in elementary school, it falls on his shoulders to care for his little sister Nagisa, who never stops asking when their mother will make one of her infrequent visits home. One day when she stops by, their mother takes them to an amusement park, only to give Minato some cash and leave them on the Ferris wheel. However, as they reach the top of the ride, lightning strikes their car. But what Minato finds when he awakens is not the grim tragedy he expected. So, I am really looking forward to this one, and I really enjoyed Erased, and so I'm hoping this one will be just as enjoyable as well. And so yeah, that will be our two first in a series reads. We will also be continuing our series read of Assassination Classroom by reading volumes 5 and 6. And then we will be starting a new series read since we finished Full Metal Alchemist. And as voted on by my members, we will be reading volumes 1 and 2 of Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. This one is published by Yan Press, rated teen. So the back of this one says, it's eat or be eaten, literally. When young adventurer Laios and his company are attacked and soundly thrashed by a dragon deep in a dungeon, the party loses all its money and provisions, and a member. They're eager to go back and save her, but there's just one problem. If they set out with no food or coin to speak of, they're sure to starve on the way. But Laios comes up with a brilliant idea. Let's eat the monsters. Slimes, basilisks, and even dragons, none are safe from the appetites of these dungeon-crawling gourmands. So the member that had talked about this one is very, very passionate about this title. Truth be told, this was not a title that I had on my radar at all, but I'm very interested to see what I think. And we will be reading the entire series, 2 volumes a month until we are done. I'm looking forward to this one. The way that my member talked about it, it definitely sounds more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what I think of this one and what happens with these characters. So, like I said, we will be reading volumes 1 and 2. I don't have volume 2 because the Barnes & Noble only had volume 1. And so I will be getting my hands on that one shortly, hopefully. But yeah, that is everything that I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of these titles and what you think of them, but please no spoilers. If you'd like to join us in any of our reads, you can do so by joining our Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. My daughter and I are also talking about Assassination Classroom in our audio-only podcast, where we share our spoilery thoughts on the volumes that we read for the club about once a month. So if you're interested in hearing what we think of Assassination Classroom, you can check out our volume by volume podcast, which I've also linked down in the description box below. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me any color heart emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.